Howdy. Okay, we're from College Station. I want to see where my help is at in here with my Aggie fans. But I'm definitely happy to be here today. I can feel a great vibe. I can feel a great energy amongst people here today. I was speaking to some of the scholars earlier, and wow, if I could have had a chance to meet them sooner, I would have been trying to recruit them to Morehouse and Spelman, because I went to Morehouse, so I'm forever an ambassador. But I do know that there are great institutions throughout this country, and everyone has their own story, and you have to create your own story to get to that point. As I move into what I would like to talk about today, I want to make sure that we have an understanding, because like I said, I'm from a smaller city, and when I do talk, sometimes I may sound like an eloquent reverend doctor, but other times I may get a little swag in it and sound like someone like Gucci Mane.
All right.
Maybe not Gucci Mane himself, but it will be respectful. But I like to talk because when we're speaking, I like to talk, feel like I'm talking to my family, because I want to be able to tell you how I feel. That way we can really vibe with one another. So I want to be able to speak as if we are family. So a little bit about myself is the fact that in 2006, I was working at Citibank, and this whole reimagine thing, wow, it could not have fit any better. Because in 06, I was working at Citibank, and each day, I was doing well, because in my family, we're not an academic laden family. However, my grandfather, my grandparents, and my mother, they always told us, just work hard, just go to work. So I was at Citibank, and so that's what I was doing, working hard every day. But as was spoken just earlier, I'm a journalist at heart. I like to write, I like to communicate. So in the summer of 2006, I attended the National Association of Black Journalists National Conference, Indianapolis, Indiana. I saved all my money. I had fundraisers, we were doing bake sales, because I was going to go to this conference regardless. So I made it to the conference, and it was my first time in life seeing African Americans that were just astute, they had ties on, they were running the show. I had never saw that before in Bryan College Station. Never saw my black people like that. So I began to mingle and mix and socialize and talk to people. At this time, I'm about 23 years old. So the common denominator was that all of them had gone to college. All of them had gone on to further their education. So I said, you know what? When I get back home, I'm about to quit my job, and I'm going to college. That's the thing about reimagining, because when I first told my mother that, they're like, what? You got a job at the bank, and you got the what? I'm like, yo, this is how I feel. This is what I believe is my destiny. So I literally left my radio show, I quit my job. This was in August of 2006. In my January 2007, I had enrolled at a one-year junior college so that I could get my mind back in motion. Because if we reverse the story a little bit, I would tell you that I first went to the University of Houston, straight out of high school. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? So, but I was before Kanye West said it, I was Mr. You can't tell me nothing. So I'm down at U of H. I used to collect Jordans. Does anybody in here wear Air Jordans? Anybody have a pair of Air Jordans? A few people over there. I had over 150 pair of Jordans. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Every time they came out, I was faking the rain to get Jordans. Because that's what made me cool. But that's what I thought. I thought the clothes that I wore, the shoes that I had on, that was my identity. That was who I was. So, as we kept moving forward, I ended up getting into school, and then I went out to Atlanta and continuing to reimagine. I would always sit back and visualize, what is it going to look like when I get there? Who's going to be there? How will I feel? What are some of the things I have to do to close that gap? This banner up here that said start here and get there. I was talking to a young man before this started, and I was like, they need to put a much larger space between start here and get there. Because the journey is definitely not that close. I'm telling you, y'all are just now starting. Bless your heart. You will be able to build character in a imagine, but it's so important, it's so vital to know where you're going, because that way when you wake up in the morning, you have something to be alive about. You have something to move, to be motivated for. So many people wake up and they're not happy, so the day just kind of tumbles along and you get what you get. But when you're doing stuff on purpose, that's why they call it a purpose. What's your purpose? I'm intentionally doing something. This is my intention. This is what I intend to do. I intended to go to college, so I did it. So that's what you have to decide. What is my purpose? Because it can't just be going to college. It can't just be the allure of what's happening, because you'll get caught up in that. That's what happened to me at U of H. I was there one semester. My GPA was 0.00. I'm not proud of it, but this is my story. And again, we family, so I can tell y'all that. Y'all not going to be laughing at me after it's over. Right? So, at this point, we get out to Morehouse, and this was the greatest decision I ever made. It was so amazing, because if I thought Indianapolis was on point with the people that I saw and what they were doing, when I got to Atlanta, I'm just really driving. I'm like, Mom, I was in Walmart, and it's us, we running the whole show. I'm like, wow, you gotta come see this. So it's just this, you begin to get mine deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're right there in the AUC where it all happened. I went to this church where Dr. King and them used to meet for the Student Nonviolent Coalition. It was just amazing, and I just feel alive even now thinking about it. So when you vision and you reimagine, which even now we can all do that, this isn't just for my young student colleagues, even though our generation, we really are about to change the whole game. Like it's this digital age. Who's on Facebook? Right? You don't have to be ashamed, because everybody on Facebook. Right? Most people out here on Facebook. So it's this new digital age. It's a whole new if you're not reimagining, you will get that Darwinism will be the truest thing ever to happen, which is the survival of the fittest. This new era of life that we're living in, this digital age where we have to be up on the game. What's happening? But you could just chill if you chose to. But the thing is, when you have this vision and you know where you're going, you'll be at the front of the line. Because I also think right now, this is a quick add-on about economics, and this is totally free. It's the fact that the market crashed in 06, 08, and it went totally down. So I tell my friends now that okay, the previous generation, that was their time before the market crashed to really be on their game. To when it peaked, they would get paid. Some of us here probably would get paid back in 06, 07. So now that it's down, my generation, we need to find our niche, because it's about to go back up. And that way we can ride that wave, and in 10 years, we party! You know, sometimes I get excited. I told y'all, sometimes I get excited because again, I'm like from this small city and just to be traveling. You know, I was in Brooklyn last weekend, and that was fun, and then Baltimore.